Okay, so our current unit is atoms and atomic structure. So today we're just going to start off with probably like a really nice basic review of how do we know how many protons, neutrons, and electrons atoms have. So to start off, we should probably just define like, well, what is an atom? Okay, so atoms, they're just the smallest particle of an element that still retains the properties of that element. Okay. So what that means is one atom of oxygen still has all of the properties of a whole bunch of oxygen. And then what do we know about atoms as far as their size? Okay, small, so tiny. Just to give you maybe a little idea of how tiny they are, a penny has 2.4 times 10 to the 22nd atoms in just one little penny. And is that number like really hard to conceptualize? Yeah, like really hard to conceptualize. Just for a comparison, our planet has 8 billion people. Okay, so like this whole planet, if we were to take all the people on this planet, it's 8 times 10 to the 9th people. Okay, and then just atoms in one little penny is 2.4 times 10 to the 22nd. Okay, so they are so very tiny. So then today, we're just going to review really like basic structures. So the three main parts of an atom are the proton, the neutron, and the electron. Okay, so then if we look a little bit deeper into protons, neutrons, electrons, I do basically want you to copy this chart down in your notes. Okay, so you need to know the charge, the location, and the mass of those particles. So protons have a charge of +1. So you can think maybe like P for proton, P for positive charge. Okay. They're found in the nucleus and they have a mass of 1 AMU. Neutrons are neutral. And do you hear the word like neutral and neutron? Okay. So neutral means that they don't have a charge. Also in the nucleus. So kind of N, right? N for neutron, N for no charge, N for nucleus. And then they're about the same size as a proton, so they also have a mass of 1 AMU. And then we have the electrons. Electrons have that charge of -1. And these are found outside the nucleus. And electrons are extremely small compared to protons and neutrons, so they have a mass of 0 AMUs. Okay, and then let's expand just a little bit on AMU. Okay. So AMU stands for atomic mass unit. And it's like a man-made scale. So if we were to actually put a proton on the balance, what unit would we measure it on the balance? Grams, okay. So if we put a proton on the balance, is it going to be 1 gram? No, hold on, I just looked it up. A proton is 1.7 times 10 to the -24th grams. Is that like an obnoxiously small number? Okay, that's a whole lot of zeros before you get to that 1.7. So what scientists did is they kind of like recalibrated the scale where they made a proton worth 1. Okay, neutrons have the same mass, also worth 1. And then electrons, if we actually put it on the balance, would they have a mass? They would. The mass of an electron is 9.1 times 10 to the -28 grams. That mass is so tiny, we would say it's negligible. What does negligible mean? Pointless. Yeah, like if you pulled one piece of hair out of your head, would you notice? Would you look different? Is it negligible then? Same thing for an electron. So on our AMU scale, we just call the mass 0. Like they are that much smaller than protons and neutrons. They're kind of, like as mass goes, they're negligible. So it's 0. In real life though, if we were to measure them, they do have a mass. It's just a really small number. So the goal of today is just to either learn or refresh. How do we know how many protons, neutrons, or electrons are in an atom? Okay. So take a look at the periodic table I gave you. Okay. This is the one that we'll use all year long. Okay, so we'll get like really familiar with this periodic table. In the top middle, do you see where I give you a key? Okay, so there's a key. It shows you like where's the atomic number, where's the average atomic mass. Okay, so the number of protons is equal to the atomic number. So let's just use the key. The key is sodium. So what's the atomic number of sodium? Okay, 11. So how many protons does sodium have? Good, 11. Let's maybe find oxygen. How many protons does oxygen have?
8.
Good, 8. How about find copper?
29.
Great. How many protons? Okay, 29. Let's keep looking at copper. So copper has 29. If you look at all the other elements on the periodic table, does any other element have 29 protons? Okay, so the number of protons is unique to the element. So we could also say that the number of protons identifies the element. Okay, number of electrons will equal the number of protons for a neutral atom. Neutral means it doesn't have a charge. Towards the end of class today, we're going to start changing that rule, so we'll start learning about ions at the end of class. When atoms have a charge, number of electrons no longer equal number of protons. Okay, but for the moment, for right now, we're only going to talk about neutral atoms. So number of electrons equals number of protons. So with that being said, let's find potassium on your periodic table. How many electrons does potassium have? 19. Let's find tungsten. Tungsten has the symbol W. How many electrons does tungsten have? Good. Okay, so while we're talking about electrons, let's talk about some special electrons called the valence electrons. Do you remember learning about valence electrons in either 9th or 10th grade science? Okay, where do we find valence electrons? Okay, they're in that outermost like shell or outermost ring. And the general rule of thumb is most atoms want 8 valence electrons in the outer ring. With the big exceptions, hydrogen and helium only want 2. Okay, and then our last particle is the neutron. So to find your number of neutrons, you have to do some really simple subtraction. Okay, so neutrons, it's the mass number minus the number of protons. And so what that mass number is, it's just the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. So if you look back at the chart you wrote down, only protons and neutrons had the mass of 1 AMU. Okay, so that's why electrons aren't included in that equation. So now look at your periodic table though. Do you see mass number on the periodic table? Okay, nothing that says like exactly word for word mass number. What do you see on your periodic table key that's similar though? Okay, so your periodic table has this average atomic mass. So what you have to do is you're going to take this number and you're going to round it to the nearest whole number. Okay. And we can just use carbon as the example right now. So carbon's average atomic mass is 12.01. So what do you round that to? Yep, so round it to 12. Okay. And then you subtract the number of protons from that. So what's 12 minus 6? 6. So carbon has 6 neutrons. Okay, let's find potassium again. What's the average atomic mass for potassium? Okay, so it's 39.10. Okay, can you have like 0.10 of a proton or a neutron? Okay, that's why you're gonna have to round it. So what does 39.10 round to?
39.
Okay, 39. And then we're just gonna subtract the number of protons. So how many protons does potassium have? Okay, so what's 39 minus 19? 20. So potassium has 20 neutrons. Okay, the last thing I want to do is just kind of tie it all together. So we'll count some protons, neutrons, electrons, and we'll draw some atoms. Okay, so we'll do at least 2 atoms we'll draw together, maybe 3. So our first one is helium. So the first thing we're going to do is just count the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons for helium. So find helium on the periodic table. Okay. How many protons does it have? 2. For right now, we're doing neutral atoms. So how many electrons does helium have? Also 2. Protons and electrons are going to match today. Next week, are we going to change this rule? Okay. And then for neutrons, what's the average atomic mass for helium? 4. That one's kind of nice. We don't have to even round it. What's 4 minus 2? 2. Okay, then we're going to draw atoms. So last class, we did the history of the atom. The Bohr model is not the most current model, but it is the model we use to draw because there's still a lot of correct pieces of the Bohr model, and it's really easy to draw like 2D atoms using the Bohr model, okay? So of those 3 subatomic particles, which are found in the nucleus? Okay, so when we draw an atom, you can draw your nucleus, and I'm just going to write 2p for protons, 2n for neutrons. You don't have to take the time to like draw little circles. And then the electrons, they're found in these electron clouds. They're a little abstract, which is hard to draw, so that's where we stick to kind of the Bohr model and the rings. Okay. The first ring can hold 2 electrons. And helium has 2 electrons. Let me give you an analogy before we draw them, though. How many of you have a sibling you live with at home? Okay, let's say you had like just one sibling and you had a 3-bedroom house. Are you and your sibling going to choose to share a bedroom because you like each other so much? Or are you going to take your own bedroom because you want some space? How many of you are like, option 2, I want my space? Okay, the same is true for electrons. So when we draw them on the ring, we're going to spread them out. They want to be as far apart as possible. And they don't have feelings. Like you might have feelings towards your sibling, but why do you think electrons want to be spread out as far apart as possible? Okay, they're both negative charged. What do like charges do? Repel, right? So those electrons, because they both are negative charged, they repel from each other. Let's add to the atom now. So let's draw carbon. Okay, we're going to start out same like protons, neutrons, electrons. So if you find carbon on the periodic table, how many protons does it have? Okay, I'm jumping down to electrons. So since it's neutral, how many electrons does it have? Also 6. And then for neutrons, we take that average atomic mass. So what's the average atomic mass? 12.01. So what are you going to round that to? So 12 minus 6 is still 6. Okay, then we can draw our atom. What goes on the inside or the nucleus of the atom? Okay, so your protons and neutrons, and you can just write 6p, 6n. All right, then we're going to put our electrons on those rings. How many can the first ring hold? 2. So the first ring can always only hold 2. So I'm going to put our first 2 electrons there, and I'm going to spread them out. Okay. And I still have more electrons to draw, right? So now we're going to draw that second ring. Okay. The second ring and every ring after, they can hold up to 8 electrons. Okay. I'm going to put them at very specific places, so I want you to watch me. So we still follow Bohr model, but we kind of incorporate some quantum mechanical model. So I'm going to put 1 electron at 12 o'clock if I'm referencing a clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. And if you want, you can draw yourself some notes. So first ring holds 2 electrons. And to abbreviate electrons, you can do an E with like the negative charge. Okay. Second ring holds up to 8. In this case, I only had to draw 4, so I stopped at 4. One more. Let's do aluminum. I want you to count protons, neutrons, electrons on your own, and then we'll draw the atom together. Okay, how many protons in aluminum? Okay, 13. How many electrons? Also 13. How many neutrons? 14. Okay, in the middle we have the 13 protons, 14 neutrons. So now we have to draw those 13 electrons. How many can go in the first ring? Okay, so we're going to draw 2 on the first ring. We're going to spread them out. And so how many do we still have to draw? $11, right? Okay, so I'm going to draw that second ring. Holy cow. I hope your rings look better than mine. How many can go on this second ring? 8. Okay, watch how I'm going to fill in those 8. So I'm going to do my first one again at like 12 o'clock, then 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So kind of think like sharing the bedroom in your house situation, right? If you can have your own space, do you want your own space? But then like, what if your family had more kids? Eventually you're going to have to double up and share rooms. Okay. So then I'm going to come back and they're going to start doubling up those spaces. So then now, how many total electrons have we drawn? 10. So how many more do we have to draw? Okay, 3. That shell's full, so you have to draw another shell. And again, I really hope your circles are better than mine. So how many are going to go on this shell? 3, and I'm going to keep that 12, 3, 6 o'clock. Where do we find the valence electrons? Okay, the outer ring is where we find those valence electrons. I'm going to highlight it, maybe in a color though. Okay, so here's our valence shell. So then how many valence electrons does aluminum have? 3. Okay, so that's kind of the nice thing about like what's the point of drawing atoms out. We draw them out because then we can see how many valence electrons, and we can also see if they're paired or unpaired.